Today we're doing Yorkshire puddings, and this is the dish that honestly drove me insane for years. So let's get into it. So I'm cracking 3 large eggs into a clear measuring cup, and whatever the measurement is, let's say it's 3/4 a cup, you're going to use the exact same amount of all-purpose flour and the exact same amount of milk. You also want to be using 1 or 2% milk. Anything over 2% I find kind of hinders the rise of the Yorkshires. So try to keep the fat content of the milk 1 to 2%. Then pour your eggs into a bowl and add the flour. Whisk the eggs and flour until it's smooth. This is going to help the batter from getting lumps later. Then pour in your milk and whisk it again. The batter should be a little looser than whipped cream. It should be smooth and pourable, but not too thick. If it's too thick, add a little more milk, and if it's too loose, add a touch more flour. Little bits at a time. It's one of those things you can adjust pretty easily. Once I started resting my batter, that was another one of the things that finally made these work. So let's rest on the counter for 2 hours, and if I'm doing this ahead, I'll just stick it in the fridge overnight. Right before baking, add a good pinch of salt and whisk it one more time. I also like to put it into a pourable container. Set your oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, and make sure your convection fan is off. The fan can actually mess with how they rise. I've had them blow sideways or collapse too early. So, no fan. Now place the empty muffin pan on a 1/4 sheet tray just to make it easier to get it in and out of the oven. And then place it into the oven for about 10 minutes. Now pull the muffin pan out carefully, obviously, and add about 2 tablespoons of oil into each cup. Beef drippings are amazing if you got them, but regular high smoke point oil works totally fine. Then put them back in the oven and cook for another 10 minutes until the oil is shimmering or even lightly smoking. Like I said, if it's not ripping hot, those puddings won't rise. Now here's where you want to move really quick. Pull the pan out of the oven and fill each cup halfway to 2/3 full with your batter. And if you get drops of batter on the edges, wipe them off. The batter sticking to the rim can actually stop the puddings from rising. I like to use a spoon under the measuring cup to catch drippings as I go. And this is the last thing that used to ruin my Yorkshire puddings. You have to move quickly. The pan is screaming hot and the oil is right at the edge of smoking. And the second the heat drops, the rise gets weaker. And once they're put into the oven, the door stays closed. If you open the oven door even a little, the heat will escape and the puddings will collapse on you. Then place them right back into the oven. They'll go in the oven at 450 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 to 12 minutes until they're tall and puffed. Once they hit that point, I drop the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit and I let them go for another 10 to 12 minutes. Once they're done, I get them straight onto a cooling rack so the bottom stays nice and crisp. They come out tall, crispy on the outside, hollow on the inside, and that's exactly what you want. I haven't had a single batch fail me after using this method. And that's my fail-proof Yorkshire pudding method. This is the recipe I wish I had years ago instead of wasting tray after tray after tray of trying to figure these things out.